When I was a kid, I wanted things for no reason. A specific sticker, a song on repeat, a weird obsession with pebbles that lasted almost a year. Nobody asked me to justify any of that. I just wanted it. And somewhere along the way, that stopped being enough. Every want had to prove something. Is this practical? Is this useful? Will this make sense to other people? Recently, while trying to figure out what I wanted to do next with my life, I realized something that made me kind of sad. I actually don't know how to want something anymore without immediately explaining why I want it. And I wonder, when did wanting become something that needed a defense? Maybe some of you can relate. Someone asks, what do you want for your next chapter, your next job? Where do you want to live? Or even just, what do you feel like doing this weekend? Instead of noticing what you're naturally drawn to, your mind starts making a case for it. What feels most responsible? What is the smartest option? Or what would this person or that person think about it? I mean, those aren't bad questions. They probably help you build a life. But when you're in the middle of a transition or when there's no script to follow, logic can tell you whether something makes sense, but it can't tell you what matters to you. And those are two very different questions. After I left my old life behind, I gained something I hadn't had in a long time: real choice. And to be honest, it was a bit overwhelming. I remember standing in a bookstore one afternoon. No one was expecting anything from me, no one was watching me, and I could just pick any book I wanted. The first book I picked up was about productivity. Of course, it was. But then I kept glancing at the next shelf, and there was this strange novel about a lighthouse. It wasn't educational and it wasn't going to improve my life in any way. And I couldn't explain why I wanted it, I just did. The cover looks nice. And I picked it up and I felt almost embarrassed. Isn't that weird? It's not because anyone was watching, nobody cared. It was just this strange feeling inside me, like I just like it wasn't a good enough reason. And standing there, I realized I spent so many years of my life choosing the things I could defend more often than the things I genuinely wanted. I don't think this is really about books or hobbies or buying things. It's much deeper than that. Somewhere along the way, many of us stopped trusting our own experience. We learned to trust logic and other people's approval instead. We became very good at asking, does this make sense? Before we ever ask, does this feel true? And don't get me wrong, logic is valuable and we can't live without logic. It helps us solve problems, compare options, plan for future. But logic can only evaluate what's already on the table. It can't tell you what makes your heart come alive. Only you can feel that. If you've spent years living according to expectations, responsibilities, or what looked sensible from the outside, that quiet voice inside you becomes harder to hear. It didn't disappear, you've just stopped listening. And I wonder if that's one of the hidden losses of adulthood. It's not that we become less spontaneous, we just get so practiced at justifying ourselves that we stop hearing our own true voice. Here's a practice I want to share. Whenever I catch myself explaining a choice, I ask myself this question: What did I want before my mind started negotiating? Sometimes I honestly don't know. The answer disappears almost immediately. But now and then I catch it. Some days I wanted to walk instead of taking the train, or take a different route completely, just to explore new scenery. Sometimes I wanted silence instead of another podcast. Tiny things, but that's the point. I'm not trying to become impulsive. I'm just trying to remember what it feels like to hear my own experience before my mind turns it into another debate. I've noticed that when I do hear it, there's usually a feeling in my body first. A slight leaning forward, a little lightness, a sense of curiosity, or even excitement sometimes. It's almost like my body recognizes something before my mind has time to judge it. So instead of asking immediately, is this the right choice? I stayed with that feeling for a few breaths. Not because every feeling should be followed, but because every feeling deserves to be heard, especially if it's your own. And I think that's what mindfulness looks like here. It's not about doing whatever you want or whatever your feeling tells you to do. It's about becoming aware of the moment you stop listening to yourself. And little by little, that quiet voice becomes easier to recognize again. Mary Oliver wrote, "You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves." I like that she didn't say, explain what it loves or earn what it loves. Just let it love what it loves. We've forgotten how radical that really is. If you're rebuilding your life right now or standing at a crossroad, there's a good chance everyone around you is asking, what are you going to do next? Maybe you're asking yourself the same question. Now, of course, practical things matter. We all have responsibilities and bills to pay. I get that. I'm not suggesting we stop thinking. But before we ask whether something makes sense, maybe ask something simpler. What am I genuinely drawn toward? You don't have to act on every answer or understand every answer. But maybe learning to hear that quiet voice again is where rebuilding a life that actually feels like yours begins. I'll leave you with that today, and thanks for staying with me until the end. If this resonates, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy conversations like this, where we talk about real, authentic feelings and want to reconnect with yourself once in a while, then consider subscribing. As always, take care of your heart, be present, be kind, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!